Hello, hello. Good day, everyone. It's another lovely Saturday afternoon. It's good to be with you live once again on the meet and greet with the FBI coach. So, join me. Who is joining me? Please tell me where you're viewing from, and also drop your favorite emoji. Then, if you are watching a replay, I would appreciate you drop um, where you're viewing from as well, and also drop your favorite emoji. Then please share this video, tag your friends, because my friend, um, he's ready to unleash the dragon. I have known him for over a decade plus. We have been together right from back in the days. We have grown in the network marketing industry. We have been through different paths. We have walked through different routes, and he's tested, he's trusted, he is capable, he has capacity. So talk to me, tell me where you're being from, please, and drop your favorite emoji. Okay, I just want to spend a few minutes to welcome those that I will see their name right on the chat board. You're welcome, Nwanze Adora. You're welcome, Christian Duru. I can cite you. Who else is telling me where he's being from or where she is being from? And please, once you share, kindly drop hashtag share. And if you're watching a replay, please drop hashtag replay. Share the video, host a watch party, tag your friends. My guest is ready. He's ready to share his wealth of knowledge with us. Like I always say to people, nobody has the monopoly of knowledge. No matter what you know, there is someone that knows whatever you know better than you do. That thing you're trying to start up, that thing you're trying to embark on, someone has gone through that route. So all you need to do is not to reinvent the wheel, rather latch on what that person has learned and grow your business, make your money, grow your network, uh, expand your influence. All right. So today, my friend is going to be taking us through the 7 processes, the 7 stages you need to go through as an entrepreneur to become financially free. Financial freedom is achievable. Financial freedom is possible, but it's not a walk in a park. All right. Yusuf, you're welcome. So while we are waiting for others to join us, I think we need to run off so that my friend will have enough time to share what he has. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Mr. Evoke Bob's Esidje. He is an entrepreneur per excellence. He's a network marketing professional. He has built a large team. He has traveled different countries around the world. He's making a lot of money from the network marketing industry. He's a PV crusher. We crush PV. So without further waste of time, I'm going to bring him up to share to have to learn from all he is sharing. And by the way, remember to like this Facebook page, FBI Coach, and also follow me on my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, FBI Coach, so that from time to time I'll be posting content. Of course, the meet and greet happens every Saturday. It has come to stay. It is becoming a blessing wholesaler, if there's a word like that. So Honor, you are welcome. It's good to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished viewers, join me as I welcome my friend. I call him Dr. Bob Evoke.
Thank you so much, FBI coach. Thank you, Charles Eloise. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to join you on the meet and greet live session today.
Yeah.
In fact, honestly speaking, I must say that what you are doing a great job. I mean, this is awesome because you are giving value to people. In fact, somebody, a mentor of mine, he mentioned that a lot of us there are things that we personally take for granted that we know, that we don't know the impact that what we know can have on somebody else. Sometimes we just take the knowledge for granted, and we need to help to impact other people. We need to help to share it to other people so that other people can also benefit from our wealth of knowledge. So I must say, I'm excited to be in your midst today. It's going to be an awesome ride, and I believe that people are going to benefit immensely from what we're about to do today. Miss FBI coach, it seems network okay. Your network is coming back. We're not on before, but I think all right, you are back now.
Okay.
All right, because I wasn't seeing you before. So I just said that there are, one of my mentors a few days ago said, look, there are so many things we know personally that we take it for granted that, oh, okay, everybody's supposed to know something about this, but he said that whatever you know, no matter how generalized it looks like, or no matter how you think it's not really necessary for others to know, that some of these things are very, very, very important. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, I'm going to be running through the 7 stages, the 7 bridges, okay? 7 steps, 7 roads that every entrepreneur needs to cross in order to achieve the kind of freedom they want. And the good thing is, after today's session, everybody watching me right now is going to know exactly where they are because all of us are on one of these stages. I do these 7 steps from time to time to sort of refresh the minds of, not just myself, but so many other people who I'm leading as well. All right, so let's begin. I'm Mr. Bob. So let me give you a little bit about my background. I worked in the bank for 7 years before I voluntarily resigned. And I remember when I was going to resign, my colleague with me then, I had typed my resignation letter and I was about to send it to the human capital department in Lagos of the bank. And he told me, in fact, he just stretched his hand to me and said, Mr. Bob, please stop, think again. Because this was, of course, I was well paid as a banker. I was not, in bank, you have contract staff, you have junior staff, you have senior staff. I was the senior staff, so I was well paid. In fact, I eventually worked in all the departments, including, an assistant branch manager. So I was well paid as a banker, but I did not see my future there.
Yeah.
I didn't see my future there. I saw that I had the capacity to do more. I saw I had the capacity to impact more people. And that's what more brought my journey into entrepreneurship. So while I was still in the bank, I was looking for opportunities. I was trying to, look for things that I could do, that could add extra income to my pocket outside my banking salary. So that's what led me to the journey of entrepreneurship. And I must tell you, I'm so grateful to God for the opportunity. So let me run, right straight to it. So there are 7 steps that every entrepreneur must cross in order to achieve financial freedom. The first step is when your income is less than your expense, or your expense is greater than your income. So essentially what happens is, I remember back then when I was in the bank, anytime they pay me salary, it doesn't even take, sometimes even before salary comes, money has disappeared. And I kept wondering why this vision, maybe I had a problem when it comes to, money. I didn't know that I had comrades. I didn't know I had friends and colleagues, who were in the same shoes with me. I thought I was the only one. So I thought my issue was peculiar. No matter how much money they pay me as a banker, even when they increase my salary, because then they used to increase They used to do promotion every 2-3 years. So when they do promotion, your salary will go up. But even when salary is increased, I found out that, you know, I don't know what happens. You know, it's like I spend more money than I earn. And then in the bank, we have this, there's this Xmas savings fund we have, you know, where every month people contribute money. So when you run out of cash, you go there to borrow, you know, to increase your debt profile.
Increase your debt profile.
Yeah, your debt, and it's like a vicious cycle. You cannot, when the thing is too much, you go and take loan. You know, because one of the things that we're told, you know, was want to become a confirmed staff. You know, you have access to loan. So immediately I got confirmation, you know, when I just joined the banking industry, the only thing was on loan. And funny enough, it's not as if I needed the loan, but just to be among, let me take loan. You didn't know that. I didn't know I'm locking myself up into more wahala when it comes to them. Then you're taking loan. I'm telling you, it's so. But that's the first stage every entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, your journey in entrepreneurship. This is even before entrepreneurship, and some of us even sometimes even into entrepreneurship, you need this refresher. That the first step is when your expenses are greater than your income. But let me tell you one of the things that shocked me again. One of the things that shocked me was that this expense greater than income even starts from childhood. Because as a child, as a growing up child, as an adult, as a university graduate, you know, as you know, even up to when you start working, but even as a growing up child, your expenses, you are not working, but money is coming in and you are spending more money than you are spending more. You are not earning, but you are spending. Okay. So that's the first stage. We all pass through it, even from childhood, for some to adulthood. Some even till when they leave this world. That's the first stage. So the first step is when your expenses are greater than your income. All right. We all start from there. It's good to know. So in fact, as I'm talking now, I'm very sure that there are people listening to me who they are in that situation. But just know the 7 steps, and then you know how to move from there. Then the second one is when your income is equal to your expense. You see, when your income is equal to your expense, what basically happens as an entrepreneur is that no matter how much you earn from your business, no matter your income, even if it's 100K a week or a month or whatever, or 500K a month or whatever, no matter, even if you are a salary earner, once maybe you earn, your salary is 500K, or your income from your business is 500K in a month, and your expenditure is 500K, what that implies, which is the second step that you need to cross, is that you are living your best life right now. It means that even if 10 years time come, if you don't change that habit, you are going to remain the way you are. You know, there are so many people who, there are so many people who you see them, they are riding big cars but empty pockets. Yeah, it happens a lot in the bank. You see a lot of people driving big cars. Those cars are on loan. They are on loan. You see Lexus 350, you see all kinds of Jeep, you know, hybrid, all kinds of cars on loan. On loan. So you look, that's why, you know, somebody said, don't ever wish to be like somebody else, because you don't really know the conditions that are associated with that person. You don't really know what that person is going through. So once you have a better idea of what people are going through, you'll be shocked that what they are putting aside, what you are seeing, is not what they have in their pockets. All right. One of the things that shocked me then, while I was in the bank, you know, there were so many customers coming in to do several transactions, and there are some of these guys that come. These were some dealers in different kinds of products, you know, in different kinds of, you know, different industries. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right then. Okay. So several of them, you know, they come in, they are maybe something into flower business, they are baking, you know, they have big shops and all that. They come in like they are ordinary people. But when you check their bank account, it's running into millions of naira. Some of them hundreds of millions. But you never know, because they just look normal. In fact, if you are not careful, you will even underestimate who they are. They have so much stacked in their bank account. Yeah.
Hold on, I missed you at some point. You said when you check. Okay, they are in debt with millions.
Yeah, that's for the bankers. I'm talking about some bankers who have a lot of big cars. But for certain customers who used to come back then to do transactions, they dress ordinary. Okay. But yeah, they have big money in their bank account, running into hundreds of millions of naira. That if what you earn and what you spend, they are equal. You are living your best life now, and it doesn't matter how many years pass. You are still going to remain the same person when it comes to your finance. Okay. Yeah. So that's the second stage. And then the third stage is when your income is greater than your expense, but you have your money in a savings account. Okay. Now, the issue is, if your income is greater than your expense and your money is in a savings account where you have ATM card, you have, it's like your network breaches from time to time. But no problem. It looks fine there.
I really don't know why I bind and cast bad network.
Yeah, bad network, bad and casted. Very important. Very important. You know.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, when your income is greater than your expense and your money is in a savings account where you have an ATM card, you have a withdrawal slip, you have star 737 hash, star 123, all kinds of, look, that account is emergency account. That account is emergency account. If you want to know whether it's an emergency account, you see, anytime you are withdrawing from that account, it's no longer a savings account. You know, one of the things that shocked me while I was in the bank, there are some people that come to the bank like 4 times in the morning and it's reading savings account. Early morning, they come and withdraw. By afternoon, they have come again. Just before close of work, they have come again. And the account is reading savings. And they will tell you, why didn't bank pay them interest? This was our bank self. Now not they pay interest. Why would they pay? When you have changed your account to emergency account.
Fire
you know, so
brigade
what
account.
I tell people, fire brigade account. Once there is need, you dip hand inside there. So I tell people that if your income is greater than your expense and it's in a savings account, that account is not free from. In fact, it's like you are just running an emergency account. Yeah, but that's not. But guess what? Yeah, and that's the step that every entrepreneur passes through. That step. That's the truth. We all pass through it. At some point in time in our lives, we have situations where accounts will open with dip and the money is gone. So that's the. All right, so that's the third one. And then let's go to number 4. Number 4 is when your income is greater than your expense. Your income is greater than your expense, and you know it's in an account where there are terms and conditions. There are terms and conditions. It's either maybe you have somebody else, maybe your wife or a business partner who is also a co-signatory to the account. All right, or so some people, they can have an account whereby they don't have any ATM, withdrawal slip, anything. In fact, some people SMS alert they don't have. You see, that kind of account keeps you in under check because you are not tempted. You know that before you can go to the bank to withdraw money from that account, you know you will sweat.
Yeah.
And the only time you withdraw money for that account is when that money is going to be used to acquire an asset. So if you have an account where there are terms and conditions, you know, then you are moving to the 4th step. As long as you have easy access to the account, you are in trouble. In fact, you know, nowadays it's even more interesting because of the COVID issue, to even have access into the banking hall, you know, they first sit down first. For some place, give them number. They'll sit down that canopy and all that. When you think of the stress of going to that, let me just leave it alone.
Yes.
So that is a 4th step. And that's very important because anything you want to embark on, you need to have the funds.
Exactly.
Especially if you want to embark on a big project. You want to buy an asset that can generate more cash. There are some big projects that you may have on ground. But because you're always dipping hand into that your account, the project cannot materialize. 1 year, 2 years, nothing to show for it. That's what we're talking about. And then, so that's number 4. Now, number 5 is when your income is greater than your expense and you've used it to acquire an asset. And here we define an asset as anything that brings cash. So sometimes when I'm doing some live trainings, some live meetings, I ask people, if you are married, is your husband or your wife an asset or a liability? That question causes problems in the hall. And is your husband or wife an asset or liability? You know, in terms of assets as bringing cash flow.
my wife is an asset.
Oh, congratulations!
Because she's not even on the expense column.
Good. Same with my wife as well. You know, women are stepping up the game. They are changing the game right now. Exactly. Women are changing the game. I'm telling you, they are changing the game. I'm so excited for women that decide to take up responsibility. I'm so excited for women who, you know, who decide to run with what they believe in, the support of their husbands. In fact, you know, I used to tell people, I said, if your husband, if you're a woman and your husband is making like say 10 million naira a month, I asked them, I said, look, if he comes back home by 12 midnight, will you allow him into the house or you chase him away? That, you know, all the women said, look, I will embrace him. In fact, that 12 midnight, I'll start cooking for him. But don't have money first. Don't get money. Don't have money. You will see what you are doing outside by 12 midnight.
You sweep the compound.
They will even tell you that you went to go and that's where your money is going. You know? That's where his money is going. That's the reason why, you know, it's not bringing us money. Must have somebody outside. But if a man you are making up to 10 million a month, you can come home at any time. Your wife is there for. And the same thing I ask the men. If your wife is making 10 million a month or 15 million a month, will you be quarreling with her? One man told me, said, in fact, he will treat her like an egg. Egg. If he anything, I remember there was this my friend while we were working in the bank. The wife was working, you know, he was working in Benin. The wife was working in Port Harcourt. And the wife was working with an oil company. And so he got his job in the bank. And one day he told us that he wants to relocate to Port Harcourt. You know, I said, why? Say, well, that, and it's not as if it was a case of he has to stop work to join the wife.
Okay.
You see, those conditions can only arise when your wife is making much more money than you.
Package, yes.
Yes, she's making more money. So you don't even have a choice to decide for yourself as a man.
Exactly.
You know, that's why these steps we are going over now, very critical, and everybody should be identifying where are you. So we're on the 5th step, that when your income is greater than your expense, you now begin to acquire assets. And an asset is something that brings money to you. That's the 5th step. That's the 5th step. Okay? Now, that I tell people now, let's go over to the 6th step.
Okay.
The 6th step is when your income is greater than your expense, but you are now beginning to have more than one asset. Because I tell people it's not enough to have one asset. If you have, let's say you have a lot of money and then you have maybe a 3-bedroom flat, or a 4-bedroom flat somewhere. And let us assume that, you know, that area, something is going on in that area, you know, an uncertainty that was not your fault. And if those are your only tenants, it becomes a problem. Becomes a problem for you. And that's the reason why I tell people that, you know, you have to have more assets. You know, these assets need to be in several areas to effectively, you know, take care of uncertainties. It's just like our friend used to tell us, Mr. Charles, Deolu Akemi will say, if you are sitting on a one-legged chair, and how are you going to survive?
Yes.
How are you going to survive with a chair with one leg? If something happens, something unthinkable happens, How are you going to survive?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yes.
That's the question. So, and that's the reason why we tell people, as you are going through these steps one by one, by the time you get to number 6, you need to now start acquiring multiple assets. Multiple assets. Okay, multiple assets. That's for number 6. Okay. And then for number 7, which is the final step now, that one is when your passive income, the income that you are earning that is coming from your different assets, can take care of all your living expenses. That's number 7. Okay, you've created multiple assets that can take care of your living expenses. You know, something happened earlier this week. There's this lady who, she started up her entrepreneurial career, her business. You know, she was sacked from the bank. You know, and why was she sacked? She was sacked because she took a loan,
okay,
from the bank to support her husband, and then the loan went bad,
okay,
and so the bank sacked her. And I always tell people that every bad opportunity is an opportunity for greatness. It's an opportunity for going higher. It's an opportunity to achieve what you ordinarily would not have achieved if you were in the situation you were, if that situation had not come up at all. Yeah. That's just the truth. That this lady at the moment, she's currently in a space of 8 years. She's currently a billionaire, through her entrepreneurship business and network marketing business. But guess what? But what shocked me there was that the same bank that sacked her,
yeah,
now comes to her house to pay homage. Every Christmas we bring cow, rams, goats, all kinds of things to pay homage. In fact, they are dragging accounts. Different banks are dragging accounts, just to make sure the service are. Why? Because she decided to do something amazing. She decided to take up her entrepreneurial journey. So these are the 7 steps that every entrepreneur must cross in order to achieve the kind of freedom they are looking for. So let me recap them again. The first one is when your expenses are greater than your income. Okay. That's where we all start from. The second one is when your income is equal to your expense. And then the third one is when your income is greater than your expense. All right. But it's in a savings account, an account where you have access to it. And then the fourth one is when your income is greater than your expense, and it's inside an account that has terms and conditions. And then the fifth one is when your income is greater than your expense, and you start using it to acquire an asset. And then the sixth one is when your income is greater than your expense, and then you begin to acquire multiple assets. All right, multiple assets. And then the seventh one is when the income from those assets, the passive income from those assets, are beginning to take care of your living expenses, and you're even beginning to use them to acquire more assets. So those are the 7 steps that every entrepreneur must cross in order to achieve financial freedom. And I want to believe that every one of us listening to me today is actually in one of those steps. They're in one of those steps as we speak. Every entrepreneur is in one of those steps. So I'm going to pause. I don't know if there are any questions on any of these steps. I would love to have your thoughts.
Okay, that's awesome. That's an eye opener. Viewers, I am sure you are getting something here. And on each of these steps, if you have any question, put it up in the comment section so I can highlight it. But by the way, the 7th journey, or the 7 steps which we take to become financially free as an entrepreneur, it requires some activities. Now, when I know that 90% of the world population are living on the step 1 and step 2.
Very right.
The step 1 is where your expense is higher than your income. Step 2 is where your income is equal to your expense. In other words, the person is living their life now. So the question now is this: what do you do to move to the 3rd step? The 3rd step is where your income is higher than your expense, but that income is not saved from you. So how do we get to that stage first? Then before we now start talking about the escrow account where your income is safe from you.
All right, very interesting question. When your income is greater than your expense, and then you have savings, and you are talking about how you can make sure that that account is sort of safe. It's not an account where you go all the time. Well, as a former bank, I'll tell you something. First of all, what you don't see does not tempt you.
True.
What you don't see does not tempt you. So one of the things that I would personally encourage is, funny enough, you can tell any bank at all, you can tell them to disable, some of those, like for example, if that's the account you want to be putting money and you don't want, to have all these things, you can tell the bank to disable the alert, the SMS alert, and then the internet banking. They'll disable it for you. If I remember a friend of ours, Ijoma Chuku, she said she went to Zenith Bank, and she has not been to that bank for over a year. And the only thing she has been doing is putting money in that account. She doesn't even know how much is there, but by the time she got there, the banker told her that, in fact, when they opened the account balance, she was shocked. The banker was shocked at the kind of money he saw in the account, and he was looking at her again and asked her, "Madam, please, what's your name?" Because the account had not been operated for long, so such things happen. But the best option is disable some of those things, because if you are seeing it, that's when there's wahala. If you are not seeing it, there's no problem. Okay, you just have to be disciplined enough to say, if this is going to be my savings account, and if I want to have enough discipline, first of all, I don't need to know. When you are transferring money to accounts or you are paying money to account, sometimes you can even forget how much you paid, especially when the money you are putting there is consistent. But when you are getting this alert, one day when you are tempted and you see your total balance, say, let me just go and withdraw 50,000 from here. But when you are not seeing it, that temptation is not there. That's one of the ways that you can actually use to make sure that you are not tempted. Of course, all those ATM, of course, you need to disable those ones. Those ones are a must, because if you really want to save and without having access to your account, if you are not seeing the money, you are okay. Once you are seeing the money, it's finished. Forget it. Doesn't matter how much is there. Something will always come to consume the money. Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Well, there's a question here. Judith is, how do someone get out of this? I believe she's asking, how do someone get out of this lockdown, financial lockdown?
All right. Well, part of it is, if you want to get out of financial lockdown, like one of my mentors says, you need to increase your streams of income. That one is a must. Because honestly speaking, there's a limit to which there's a way you can save. If money is not coming in, then there's a problem. So you need to increase your streams of income. There are so many opportunities out there that can help you to increase your stream of income. In fact, one of the things I found out is that there are 3 things that every entrepreneur must have if they want to succeed in any opportunity that they're involved in. 3 things. I boil them down to those 3 things. I've seen it work over and over again, and I tell people, if you can those 3 things, if you can master them, you will succeed. And what are those 3 things? Number 1, you need to be hungry for success. You need to be hungry for success. If you are not hungry for success, there's no opportunity you see out there, no matter the opportunity that comes your way. If somebody else is succeeding in that opportunity, it means you too can succeed. If you are not succeeding, check out yourself. Do you even have the desire to even succeed? Is there or you are just there, let me just tag along, waiting for a miracle? You have to be hungry for success. That's the first thing. Number 2, very important, you have to be coachable. You have to be coachable. If you are not coachable, if you are not willing to learn, if you are the Mr. Know-it-all type, I can promise you that you are going to have problems if you are Mr. Know-it-all. Because you see, one of the things is, anything you are doing, there are people out there that have passed that road, and they can direct you they can show you this all the things you need to avoid. All right. So you need to be coachable. That's number 2. And number 3, you need to be willing to put in the work. You need to be willing to put in the work. It's not enough to just want something and then they are teaching you. You have several mentors that are teaching you, they are coaching you, but you are not willing to take action. Look, if you are not willing to take action, sorry, you cannot achieve anything. You have to be willing to take action. So once you are hungry for success, you are coachable, and you are willing to take action, I can promise you that these 3 things I just mentioned, it doesn't matter the business you are involved in, it doesn't matter the industry you are involved in, even if you are in the movie industry. If you have these 3 things I mentioned, it's common to all businesses. Hungry for success, coachable, and willing to put in the effort. So if you have these 3 things that are set, and then you have an opportunity to increase your streams of income, I can tell you that if you apply this in that opportunity, you succeed.
Awesome. Okay, there is another question here. I think it's related to the first one, but let me just read it out.
Right.
Why is if one is living in step 1, what can the person do to move from such step?
Okay. Of course, it's still very close to the what I just said. If you are living in step 1 where your expenses are greater than your income, first of all, you first need to know that that's where you are. Because what I tell people is that if you don't even know where you are not qualified for help. So Now that you know that, okay, this is where I am, I'm actually spending more money than I'm earning. Just like me when I was in the bank, I was spending more money than I'm earning. Taking from a Susu fund, from, anything takeable, So one of the things I realized is, first of all, you need to do your audit. Know those things that are chopping your money. Because you see, if you don't know those things, if you don't know the things that are, if you do your audit, you'll see what is important and what is not important. What is important and what is not important. You need to identify, you need to do a personal audit of your finances to know exactly where money is going. It's very important. Because when you know where money is going, ask yourself, this thing money is going to, is it really important? How important it is? You need to do an audit of your finances and to identify the loopholes, all right, the unimportant things that money is going to. But most importantly, after doing that audit, is to identify an opportunity. There are so many opportunities right now that people can use to make money from their home, from through their phone and all that. You need to look for an opportunity of such and then employ the 3 things I talked about. So if you're in step 1, do an audit. Okay, do an audit and then look for an opportunity that can generate more money for you, because that's very key. Yeah.
Okay, so this advice cuts across both employees and
entrepreneurs.
Self-employed. Okay, now when you have been able to increase your income and you have set up an escrow account, that is the account that is governed by rules and regulations, that money coming out from there is going to assets. What's your advice in the classes of assets, which one can start with?
All right. Well, in terms of assets, there are several assets. All you need to do is to identify something that can generate cash flow, and also can generate cash flow. Sometimes that's 1, 2. It has to be such that after a while you can hands up, because sometimes there are some assets that you acquire that in the beginning you need to be involved. For example, like in network marketing now. In the beginning, you need to be, heavily involved. But after some time, even when you back out, all right, it can continue to pay you. Okay, there are people that I remember when I just, got started in my opportunity, and I went to Lagos and I met one of my leaders, and he told me, he said, Bob, he said, even if I sleep and I wake up and I watch CNN from Monday to Sunday, every week, I'll still be paid over 10 million. honestly speaking, Sir Charles,
Passive income.
Day, passive income. That day, the Uber driver that took me there became a part of the opportunity.
Yes.
You see, but before he got to that stage, there were years of labor and hard work. So in certain kinds of assets that one wants to create, irrespective of the asset, even if you were, let's assume you were doing a building project, there's still a lot of work that you need to do. Okay, the area, the type of area, the kind of tenants I'm looking for. There are some houses you build that are for certain categories of tenants.
Exactly.
Good. So, all those things, very important, very key.
Very important.
So in identifying the assets that you can go into, you need to do your own background. So there are several assets. There are intangible assets. Okay, like although of recent, the government that is not yet so enlightened enough, yes, about digital currencies is trying to fret their muscles. And you know that this thing has come to stay. Sometimes when I read it yesterday, I was wondering, I said, look at these guys. You don't know, you think that an exchange that where people buy and sell digital currency, you think there are other places you can buy digital currencies from that are not Nigerian based, but you have Nigerians there who can transfer. Yes. You can transfer money between yourself. How do you stop it? How do you stop it? How do you stop that kind of something? You can't stop it. It's not. I don't know, but I just feel the CBN. What CBN should have done was to say, okay, if you're a major exchange that operates in Nigeria that deals with digital currencies, come register with us. Let us see your books. Let us have the accounts of all your customers. Make sure they are KYC compliant, so that if there are any dubious things, we can monitor people. That's what they should have done, rather than saying, "No, I place embargo." But I'm sure people are talking of this afternoon. I saw Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, telling them that, look, you can't stop our crypto business. You can't stop our crypto business. You have to,
the billions people have in there. When I watched the video yesterday, I just shook my head. I just said, these people are 20 years backward. Anyway, that's by the way. I have another question here. He says, please, what's the danger about joint account when building a small business?
First of all, the person who you are doing that account with, that person needs to be a trustworthy person. It has to be somebody that you understand very well, because I can tell you that there are issues when you don't really know the partner. Okay, every business is about trust. So, for me, I think trustworthiness comes number one before anything. Trustworthiness. The person needs to be trustworthy. The person needs to be somebody that people can bank on. That all that. Then apart from that, you guys need to know your stuff. You need to know what you are doing. Okay, especially when it comes to managing the joint account, managing the account. Very, very important. It's very, very important. Everything needs to be transparent. It's not just to withdraw the money, but to monitor where the proceeds are going. There's a lot going on, but look, the first number one thing I'll say is trustworthiness. I can just tell you that trustworthiness and understanding between both of you. It needs to be clear. Even if you and your spouse, it's actually easier between couples, because they have a shared goal that benefits the family. So usually, sometimes one doesn't want to sabotage the other because they know what's on ground, that kind of thing. So, but that is very, very important. That's very, very important. Trustworthiness and understanding your game.
Okay, let me also add that if they are not couples, they are different individuals, it's also important for them to do the paperwork. Make sure your lawyers sign the document.
Very important. Very important.
There's no gentleman handshake. There's no gentleman agreement.
No.
The paperwork must be done very, very clearly, and the terms should be well spelled out. Okay, and there are ways you can contract or you can engage a legal practitioner. You can engage the person based on proceeds shared, or based on, just make sure you have a legal practitioner. Okay, now back to our discussion. Looking at our environment, Africa, one of the things I've come to realize, most especially for salary earners, it's always difficult for them to delve into the entrepreneurship world simply because they are tied to that 8 to 5 p.m. And some of them, they work from 7. I remember when I was in Lagos, I wake up 4 o'clock, I leave home 4:30 to be, I used to stay at a Cotagula estate in Aja. So I leave 4:30. I have to go through the traffic to be at the office on or before 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, my resumption time is 8 o'clock. Sometimes I get to the office 7:30. Now, I do that Monday through Friday. Sometimes on Saturdays, we still go to work. And when I close, by the time I'm getting home is 9 p.m. and all that. And at that time, I'm trying to paint a real life scenario here. Now, at that time, someone is telling me about thinking about starting up another business, having a side hustle. I look at the person as being wicked because bulk of my time is given out in a job. And at the end of the day, just like you said, the accountant of our company then changed my name from Charles Eze to Charles IOU because I always collect IOU. before the month goes half, I'm flat. Okay, and any day I sleep in a vehicle and I pass my bus stop, I'll have to take money from my lunch to pay back. So I'll need to borrow IOU from the office. So what advice do you have for people who are living in such similar situation right now? How do they get out of that bottleneck?
I'll say first of all, like I always say, there are some situations that no matter how you try and cut down costs, it's difficult. I would say first of all, after doing your audit, knowing where money is, you need to tell yourself, look, I have a problem and I need to solve this problem. Sometimes there are things that are beyond. What I tell people is sometimes there are some challenges we pass through that are beyond just physical. I tell people sometimes it's more on the mind, more on your mind, more on your mindset, and what has already been deposited there. That you feel okay. There are these things that I must do this. No, if I don't do this, something will happen. No, nothing will happen. The mind has to be made up, and you need to tell yourself, I want to do this. So for somebody in that kind of situation, I'll say, look, first of all, you need to know, thank God we've gone through this training now, so you know exactly where you are, that you spend money than what you earn. What helped me, on a personal note, what helped me were two things. If I was passing through similar situation, what helped me were two things. Number one, I needed to do an audit. Number two, let me tell you one of the things that helped me. So when I was in the bank, that's when I got first started in my first network marketing business. And I remember then, sometimes when I'm facing challenges, because it's not easy combining bank work with, especially when even on Sunday, sometimes you have to be in the office because of the ATM machine. Okay, and then sometimes when you won't have time to say, okay, I want to do my business, that's when you fix the training. So it was looking as if they are pursuing somebody from the village. Okay. But you know what? I convinced my mind and told myself, look, I remember those days I used to mentally talk to myself. I said, look, if you don't, you have two options. You have two options. It's either you work in the bank for the next 35 years, all right? Or you decide to take your business seriously. So those were the two options I had. Because one of my mentors told me something I'll never forget. It's like he was talking to me. He said, look, Bob, if you can't do your business part-time, you can't do it full-time. If you cannot do your business part-time and succeed, you cannot do it full-time. So there was no excuse. It's either I succeed or I succeed, because I had to increase my income to take care of my bills. I had to. You can't do it part-time. You can't do it full-time. So you better look for how to do it. You have to figure out a way to do what you need to do to break out of the yoke. So it was very, very important. So what helped me? With that mindset, as I told you, it's a mindset thing. To that mindset, I decided, I said, no, anytime I'm facing challenges, I'm always keeping my vision in front of me. This is what I want to achieve from this business. And guess what? I had a plan. My plan was like, the only time I'll quit the bank is when what I'm earning for my business can take care of my salary. In other words, I can earn my salary from my part-time business every month. Yeah. And I have to do that for 6 months before I know I understand. But guess what happened? I was able to achieve it in 2 months. What made me eventually resign was the month where the 2 months, I earned my 9 months bank salary in 2 months part-time. That was what gave me the confidence to resign. But it took me more than 2 years to get to that point. It took me more than 2 years. Yeah. So, but it was a game of commitment. It was a game of telling myself every day, Bob, you can do this. Bob, you can do this. You know, sometimes you need to talk to yourself. Because sometimes the challenges that you are passing through are just overwhelming. You need to talk to yourself. I can do this. If other people are doing it, I can do it. It's either I succeed or I succeed. There's no option for failure. So with that kind of mindset, if you are in a situation whereby you are borrowing money, you are taking IOUs, you are taking all those things, you need to tell, first of all, identify all the loopholes, see what you can bring down, and then whatever business you are doing part-time, make sure you attack it with everything. The mindset, look, I have to do this and succeed. It's either I do it and succeed and get myself free from this stuff, or I perish, you know, this thing. I have to do it. It's either I succeed or I succeed. No choice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that was actually the decision I took when I started off as an entrepreneur. I told myself, it's either I succeed or I succeed. There is no. There is no room for failure. There's no room for failure. There's something I learned from one of my mentors recently. He said one of the things that made him build 200,000 team members in 1 year was that he talked to everybody that is within 3 feet.
Very important.
Everybody that comes across him within 3 feet, he talked to them. As
they are breathing. Oh, it's called the breathing technique. If they contact you, if they meet you by mistake, that they met you, your energy will tell them that you are. They will tell you that
they should know.
That is it.
So I had to go back. I had to go back and listen to that video. I have listened to it over and over again, and it's mind stretching. It's been an amazing time. Okay, I really appreciate this, my friend and my brother, Mr. Bob Voke. I remember back then in Lagos, in our previous company, when we gathered together for leadership seminars and all that, you know, and it's been a great time. That's why I love our industry. That's why I love the network marketing industry. The people it yokes you with, you know, everybody in the network marketing industry has a successful mindset. Anyone who is not thinking the success of another person is not into network marketing. And one advice, give everybody, be you an employee, be you a self-employed, no matter who you are, make sure you have a taste of network marketing. It's very important.
Very important. Very important.
Very important. I truly appreciate this time. It's been an amazing time learning. Viewers, I'm sure you got value. Please put it up in the comment section what you have learned. And I also want you to go through this video over and over again. First, identify where you are. Do a personal audit. Identify where you are. If you don't know where you are per time, you are not qualified for help. Secondly, start taking steps. All right? Start taking steps and in managing your funds. I did a video some time ago on managing money. Money management principles. So go to my YouTube channel. You can find that video for free. watch it and practice all that has been said there. Then this video, chew it, share it with your contacts. It will do it. See, the best thing you can pray for you is to say thank you. Thank you for opening my eyes. Thank you for showing me this. And Mr. Bob's, I say thank you. It's a wonderful prayer, and I say thank you. Thank you for opening our eyes to this. I'm sure my viewers also got value from this. So be a blessing wholesale. Share with your contacts. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I think Facebook has changed something recently. When it comes to pages, you don't like anymore, you follow. Have you noticed it?
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that you follow the page. That's true.
You follow just the way you follow on Twitter and on Instagram.
Yeah.
So please follow this page, Charles Elo-Eze, so that once content comes up, you get notification. I appreciate you, my brother. It's been an amazing
pleasure. We thank God.
I thank God for. I don't regret knowing you. Thank you very much. Please drop kind words for Mr. Bob's. I believe he's been an amazing blessing to us, and also let's not forget to be a blessing to other people by sharing the video and getting others to learn from what we have gotten today. Thank you, and God bless you. See you all on Saturday. I'm bringing up another friend. We have known ourselves back in the days. Okay, he's also an entrepreneur, a rugged entrepreneur. You will get to hear from him. So until then, I sign out at this moment.